up guys, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about what it's like working at Walt Disney World. As you guys know, I worked at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I worked at the Magic Kingdom on Main Street East merchandise, and I'm just going to talk about the pros and cons about working merchandise. So, I've been getting a lot of questions via like Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, so I'm going to answer them all for you and then just talk about what it's like working there. So let's get into the video. So like I said, I worked on Main Street East merchandise. Main Street is based off, I believe it was Marceline, Missouri. It was a town that Walt grew up in, and it was just kind of based off the all-American feel town, if that makes any sense. So you walk into Main Street and you kind of feel like you're taken back to the turn of the century, and it makes you really forget that you're in, 2016. You just feel like you're in a different world. So, like I said, I worked in a bunch of different shops along Main Street. I think I worked in a total of 6. Within those 6 shops, you had different roles in each location. So I will talk about all of those. It kind of sounds confusing, but it's not. So when you work merchandise, you could go to a resort, or you could be placed at Downtown Disney, or you could be in one of the parks. Now, I worked, like I said, at Magic Kingdom, so it was very busy all the time, and I had a lot of hours. I worked at least 40 hours every week. So it was a full-time job. The first place that I worked was Curtain Call and Collectibles, and that's actually the exit to Mickey and Tinkerbell for meeting them. It was kind of like more of a kids store. It had a bunch of toys, it had autograph books and plush toys, all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed working there because it was really cute getting to see all the kids. In that location we also had a hatting position, which is where you learn to embroider hats. So this is what I learned to embroider, and there were 2 locations on Main Street that I worked at that did hat embroidery, so I definitely got to do this a lot, and it was a lot of fun. It was really relaxing. The next place I worked was in Photopass. It's kind of in the same area as Curtain Call and Collectibles. So at that location we just rang up guests that were purchasing their photos. And that was a lot of fun too, just getting to see all everybody's different photos. It was a lot of fun. The next shop that I worked at was the Chapeau. At the Chapeau we have a bunch of pen trading, and then we sell hats, obviously, Chapeau. And there we also do hat embroidery. And then the next shop that I worked at was the Confectionery. And this one you actually had a different outfit for. Working on Main Street you have 3 different outfits. One is the brown costume, which you wear at most of the locations except for Confectionery. For brown you had this plaid high-waisted skirt that went all the way down to your legs. Then it was this white top, either long or short sleeve depending on what the weather was like. And then you had a tie, just this blue tie that had MS on it for Main Street. My second costume was the Confectionery Outfit, and that is this yellow banana looking dress with this yellow apron with a bunch of detail on the front. It's like a big triangle right here, and then this very poofy yellow chef's hat, and you felt like you were a walking mushroom / banana. And then the third costume that I wore was the stocking outfit, and that's just high-waisted, very uncomfortable dark blue pants with a striped light blue shirt. Very unflattering, and that you just wore if you were the stalker for that day, which is if you see a product that we don't have a lot of, then you either replace it and restock it, or you move the product and then put something else in its place. Stuff like that. You're mostly working in the back, so you don't talk to guests as much if you're the stalker. So working in the Confectionery was a lot different than working in any of the other merchandise locations because you were dealing with food. Since I was in the college program, I didn't have to learn how to make the caramel apples or do the decorating of the Mickey Rice Krispie treats, but I did learn how to make cotton candy, and you did handle food, so you had to get your food safety trained. You definitely smelled all the amazing chocolate all day long, and that was very hard because if you were working like a 14-hour shift, you would get either 2 or 3 breaks. I can't remember how many, but you would get so hungry and smelling the confectionery food all day is literally the hardest thing because you just want to eat all the chocolate. So moving on from the confectionery, we are now talking about the cinema, and that's where they sell a lot of the artwork and little Mickey figurines and the precious moments. So I liked working there. It was a lot more laid back. You did have to go downstairs and bring up heavy boxes with all these big figurines in it, but that really wasn't a big deal, and it was kind of fun. It was like a little workout of the day. But yeah, it was really chill and laid back, and you got to watch cartoons in that location because they had this huge screen with Mickey cartoons on repeat, and that was the best thing ever, especially if there was a parade going on. It really died down on Main Street, so you could just kind of chill and watch the cartoons, and I really enjoyed that, so that was fun. Okay, and then the last store that I worked at on Main Street was Uptown Jewelers. And that is connected with the Pandora store, which I also worked at. So they have Vera Bradley, Dooney and Burke jewelry, a bunch of expensive watches, and then in the back side of the store is the whole Pandora store. So working there, I learned how to size watches. I also got like Pandora trained, so you learn all about the different charms and the park exclusive charms. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't really know much about jewelry before I started working at Disney, and now I know a bunch, so that's helpful. I also know how to size a watch, so if your watch is too big or too small, I got you covered. And it was cool to be part of the opening team for the Pandora store, because right when I got there, it wasn't even open. That whole back wall of Uptown Jewelers was nothing. So it was cool to be able to say that I was, you know, one of the first people to work at that location and see it open and see the progress of it and see all the new charms come out. It was just a really cool experience. So now talking about actually working there. So the only downside to working on Main Street or the Magic Kingdom is that it takes a very long time to get from your car to the Magic Kingdom, because you have to park super far away, walk through the whole parking lot, and then you have to wait for a bus to come pick you up to take you to the utilidors. I don't really know if I'm supposed to talk about those. So you're at West Clock, which is the parking lot for the Magic Kingdom. Park there, go to the bus, and then that takes you to Be Our Guest, the restaurant. And then working on Main Street, you had to walk literally through the whole entire park to finally get to your location. Then you had to walk up the stairs and clock in. So it took an hour from the time I left my apartment to the time I got to the CDS where you clock in. It takes a full hour. So I'd leave an hour before work every single day, which definitely took time out of your day, but it was worth it because I loved my location and I loved my job. And then when you clock in to get your assignment, so you go to CDS, you put in your number, and then it prints out this little receipt that tells you where you go. So it'll tell you, you know, Stephanie Housley, you will go to Uptown Jewelers and work there at this register. So you go and you work there, and then about 2 hours into being in that position, you get bumped to go to a different position. So then I could move to CCC or Photopass, or I could go to one of the outside carts, which I forgot to mention that I worked at. So anyway, you get the CDS and it tells you where to go and it tells you when to go on your break, and you just always get different positions and move throughout the day to different locations. So that's fun. You're generally only at a certain location for merchandise for 2 hours at a time, and then you move somewhere different. So that's good because it keeps you on your feet, and you don't get too bored in one location. And it's good if you don't like a particular location, then you know that you don't have to stay there for a super long time. So that's also very beneficial. Now I'm going to talk about the different types of magical moments that you can create for guests when you're working in merchandise. No way! Oh my god. Now you have a Pluto pin!
What do you say? Do you say thank you?
You're welcome. So, working in merchandise, you kind of have a free range of what you're able to do. You're able to communicate with guests for long periods of time and just kind of hear their story, and you get to know that guests really appreciate it when you take the time to talk to them and just hear about their life. It's just really incredible being able to learn all of this information and talk to people from around the world. So we were able to, every once in a while, give away a free Crispy or a free apple, and just to see people getting little things, they were so thankful for it. Seeing stuff like that was really magical, and I liked being able to, you know, give people a free cookie or give them a free Crispy or something. And it was just, it made you feel good, and it made you feel like they were really appreciative of where they were and very thankful and just happy they were at Disney. On Main Street, there were a bunch of different people that I worked with. I honestly don't know how many people I worked with. It was probably like 100. There were so many people that worked on Main Street East, I honestly didn't know them all. But with the college program, you generally get the same shifts as the other college program kids. So you get really attached to everybody who's in the program with you and working in your location. And it just felt like family. When you went to work, it felt like you were with your family. You could tell them everything and talk to them, and then you would go hang out after work, and they just became your best friends. And that's also something that's really good about merchandise. You just get really close to people, and you can talk to them for long periods of time while you're on your shifts. And it's just, you make your best friends. That's how I met Nancy, that's how I met Patty. That's actually kind of how I met Kristen. There really aren't many cons to working merchandise. I can't really think of many cons for working at Disney in general. The pay isn't great, and you do have really long hours, and being a CP, you do get the night shifts. So I did work until 3, 4 in the morning every single night, but you get used to it, and it really isn't a big deal. And there's really nothing like bad that I can think about working at Disney. I definitely enjoyed it. I would give anything to go back and work with the people that I worked with and to be back on the program. It was so much fun, and I'm so thankful I got the opportunity to do it. And if you ever get the chance, definitely go and have a bunch of fun. That's pretty much it about working on merchandise. I think I covered most everything. If you have any other questions about merchandise, working at Disney, I'm thinking about doing a Q&A pretty soon. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media accounts. I will have those linked in the description down below. Subscribe if you are not already. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys!